What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Dawkins and Duke. This week we have national champion and former Duke basketball captain Lance Thomas talk about his run to the Final Four in the national championship and what this team this year needs to do to repeat that. As always, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any of our uploads. Check us out over on Twitter at the Field of 68 and my personal Twitter at Dre_Dawkins. Let us know what you think and who you want to hear from next. And if you are going to be in New Orleans with us this weekend to watch the Final Four, make sure you swing by one of our Field of 68 live shows that we're going to have. It's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely come check us out if you are in town. But I hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you on the next one. So this week we got national champion, former captain at Duke, the one and only Lance Thomas. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, champ? How you doing, man?
Chilling. Appreciate you coming on.
No doubt. Appreciate the invite.
All right. So with all the former guys, I start the podcast off the same way. What was your welcome to Duke moment?
I'm going to need you to start it off a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? I know you said you do this with, you know what I'm saying? We not doing it like, you know what I mean?
Nah, man, we got to
start me off with a different question. Start me off with a different question. I'm going to just hit the leave meeting button. You know
all right, we'll skip that one. We'll come back to that one. So you've seen, we both seen both ends of the spectrum in the tournament, losing in the first round and winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
What is that like? I mean, what is that first round exit like? I mean, for you, it was, your freshman year, your first year. I'm sure you come to Duke with designs on winning championships and putting banners up. And, you guys get knocked out in that first round. What was that experience like?
Knock the air out of your lungs.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, you go to that school expecting to win,
Mm-hmm.
And to get set back like that by Virginia Commonwealth.
Mm-hmm.
They brought the fight right to us, and it really set the tone for what tournament basketball is like. It doesn't matter what your record was, in the regular season. You lose one game, it's over. Doesn't matter if you were undefeated in the regular season. So it was definitely a really big wake-up call early in my career. And you never forget those moments. As soon as you brought it up, it literally just catapulted me right back to how I felt when we lost that game.
Yeah. What's that off season like? Because I remember my freshman year, obviously we won it all. Off season was real cushy.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I
appreciate it.
I'm listening.
Off season was real cushy. We're shooting half court shots. Got Wojo got a smile on his face, which we all know is few and far between. But what was that off season like for you guys after getting knocked out so early?
I was pissed. We wasn't shooting no half court shots.
Nah.
Wojo wasn't smiling in the summer for us after that. Like we think things was different, man. Things was very, very different. The summer going into my sophomore year. Just because, one, we didn't have any seniors my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Our upperclassmen, we was DeMarcus, Dave McClure, Greg, freshman Nick Roberts, guys like that we had as our upperclass, but we didn't have like a senior presence. We were all scrapping, and just going into that off season, it was a tough one just because it was like, all right, like we know what we got to do, but you know what I mean? Like there's still, a lot of pressure just playing in that uniform, especially coming off of a season, where you definitely fell short.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, that again was a big wake up call for us, and we knew that we needed to get to work. And the next year we lost in the second round. So it's like, we did better than last year.
Yeah.
but this still ain't
not the goal. Yeah.
And then you already know what happened the following year. We won one more game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, we're not getting worse, but we just need to do better,
Right.
So I just think all of those experiences, kind of, lit a fire under us, to where you came into, a situation where, me as a captain with John that year, and Zoobs being our, the upperclassmen of that year, we never wanted our young boys to go what we went through as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very important to us to really set the example for you guys to, to show composure through adversity, at all points throughout the year. When we lost, a crazy game to Wisconsin that year. We got
Mm-hmm.
smacked, which was my senior year. But then, we go into the postseason with a really big win on my senior night against UNC,
Mm-hmm.
smacking them up by 30 and all that. But going into that, it was just a very big, big responsibility, to really know that this was the last tournament that I could potentially play in, and it was just a very high level of focus and attention to detail. Once we only potentially had 6 games left, and you remember, how intense things were, how many difficult conversations had to be had to make sure people was ready, how we had to stick together, in times of real adversity in the game, certain instances where coaches can't really relate, because they're not the ones on the floor, and us making the adjustments on the fly, that those were really big things for us in that senior year. So
yeah,
I think you remember that.
Yeah. I think one of the things I remember most, and it's not, it's hard to like quantify, but it was just that you guys had this sense of urgency about everything throughout the year, which, obviously comes from you guys going through what you went through, for your first 3 years, losing in the first round. Then, okay, like you said, okay, we went one more and then we went one more. And then, I feel like your senior year, you had that sense of urgency that like, no, like that's not enough. Like one more isn't enough. Like we need
one more
the
isn't
whole
enough,
thing.
especially in a tournament where there's 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
I only have 4 years. You know what I mean? Like if I was going to play for 6 years, okay, that trajectory, we could have kept it going, but in a 4-year, a 4-year tenure, at Duke, the years didn't add up to the trajectory we're on. So it was kind of like, we got to make a stand right here, and whatever it takes. And a big theme that, we always said, my senior year was that there's no alternative, like we're not losing. Don't matter what we got to do, we're not losing. Whatever it takes. If it's diving for a loose ball, if it's picking somebody up full court, if it's making the extra pass, if it's making sure we secure the rebound so they don't get a second chance shot. Whatever it takes. Even if a guy is hot from 3, even if he's on fire, you still got to just a contest. You're a shooter. Sometimes when you're in the zone, a hand in your face does not matter, right? But there's some times where the hand might slightly do something. You know what I mean? And even if it still looks like it's about to go in, it might hit the rim a different way. You know what I mean? Like you one of them shooters. I can't relate. My shit was broke in college. I didn't develop a little baby Jimmy into the NBA. But just in general, I think that, every play that needed to be made, we made it. And there was it wasn't no looking to the left or right. You're like, who's going to do it? It was like, whoever's the closest person is going to do it. There's no, you know what I mean? If it was a loose ball and Zoobs was the closest, you best believe his 7'2" big behind is going to get on that floor and go get it. It wasn't a matter of, man, let the guards do that. That's a long way down to the floor for me. No, we all took accountability of, what needed to happen to win. And it showed, especially if you go back and watch our tournament.
Yeah.
You'll see that those plays were made on a consistent basis.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it was, that was one of the things that made that team really good was.
That team, boy, you was on this team.
Yeah. Our team really
you got
good.
A ring, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want
my
the
bad,
ring,
my bad. Nah, my bad. I love my ring. What made our team really good was like, we paid attention to every single possession. Like every possession mattered because, we weren't flying up and down the court. We were keeping the game to not that many possessions. You weren't going to score 60 points. And so every possession mattered. And, you can really see that throughout the game. And what I don't think people understand is, that you watch a basketball game and you see Gordon Hayward missed the last shot. It's like, oh man, if he made that shot, that like that won or lost the game. And it's like, no, that's not what won or lost the game. What won or lost the game, what won the game for us was, John making that block, early in the second half or whenever, or in the first half, I think it was, chase down block that he could have been like, nah, I can't get there. Zoog switching when we don't switch 1 to 5 on Hayward, and getting the contest, like you said, stuff like that, possession after possession after possession throughout the game, and that puts you in a space where you have the opportunity to win the game, and that's something that I think we did throughout the whole year, that made us really good.
Absolutely, I completely agree with
you. So during that year, 2009, 2010, did you feel like we had a chance at winning it? Or, was there a time where you felt like, okay, like this team may have what it takes, to win those 6 games?
Once we got to the tournament, we already started clicking before the NCAA tournament. Like, we were at the point where we knew our strengths. We didn't have to try to reinvent the wheel or try to do anything. It was like, all right, we didn't have high profile scores. We had people that put the ball in the basket, but we didn't have somebody that you was watching Duke to watch somebody put up 30. That wasn't our team. You watched us to watch really good basketball, and we knew each other's strengths, so when we were playing for each other. And when you play for each other, you're playing to not let the person to the left or right of you down. And we already had that established, from the jump. Like, we already knew that we had each other's back. So when it came down to, we only got potentially 6 games, we can win 6 in a row. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like, we can win 6 in a row. We played in the ACC. ACC is one of the toughest conferences, period, especially, I believe, that year. Sure. So there was no, well, man, we don't know. It's like, whoever's in front of us, come on, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't care. You know what I mean? That it was very unfortunate, when we played against West Virginia and one of my brothers, Deshaun Butler, hurt himself, but he was one of the most, fun players to watch, that year, what he did at West Virginia, but when he went down, we blew right past them, and then, we got to Baylor, which was a very tough game, probably arguably the toughest game we played in the tournament, for a number of reasons, but, once we showed resolve enough to play against a team that, it was night and day with the athleticism. This team was probably one of the most athletic teams in the country that year, for sure. especially in D1. And for us to be able to, do as well as we did on the rebounding, for us to guard, some of these players that they had, they had a lot of NBA caliber guys on that team. They had, who was it? Quincy Acey, who I was teammates with in New York, Ekpe Udoh, really good player, Lace Darius Dunn, Perry Jones. Like, they had a really star-studded team, of guys who, who could really play, and to get that win, there, closer to their home.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
A lot of the big wins that we had were against other teams that were pretty much in their home, in their backyard.
Yeah.
Against, when we were playing at Lucas Oil against Butler. That's their backyard. That's the equivalent of us just playing in Raleigh. You know what I'm saying? If the Final Four was in Raleigh, that's how close it would have been. So it was just, we went into places, knowing that it was us against everybody. We focused on us, we focused on our game plan, and we fought. And it was, the journey, to the championship, the journey to winning it was something very special. And I'll never forget it.
Yeah. I think another thing that made our team really good that year was we were really good in preparation. Like, if we had a few days to prepare for someone, like, you were gonna lose. Which obviously
they didn't have a chance. We for what we didn't have with explosive scoring, we had, with intellect and basketball IQ. And then on top of that, you couple that with, the amazing coaching staff that we have, to even give us more of an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff we did on the fly.
Yeah.
For instance, like you mentioned, when Zeus was switching out on Hayward, sometimes that wasn't the game plan.
No.
It was just something that we said on the fly, like stay in front of him.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Like keep him out of pain. I'll make sure your guy doesn't get the rebound. Don't worry about Howard. You know what I'm saying? Like we got him. So it was more, we had so much trust in each other. There were certain times where coach allowed us to use our basketball IQ and our intellect on the fly, and we did that. But that also just comes down to trust. We trusted each other. Coach trusted us, and in a game that was pretty much a chess match, all the way until the end, we prevailed.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things about that year. And you guys spoiled me because it changed, as we had more younger guys in my older years. But like you said, we adjusted stuff on the fly in game. It was like, yo, this dude's hot. We're gonna start reading that, or we're gonna keep this guy on this side of the court. So every time, he comes off a ball screen, we're gonna keep him on the left side. No matter where the ball screen is, we're gonna send him left. And like that was one of the coolest parts about being on that team is, especially having you and Zoobs back there. For the most part, we have 4 or 5 different ways to cover screens, but for the most part, it was you guys kind of quarterbacking the defense, right? So if we're getting the ball screen, it was you or Zoobs saying, hey, left, right, red, black, whatever. And our guards being able to say, okay, this is what we're doing, boom. Which really is not normal because, as my junior, senior year, we had more freshmen, more young guys. We couldn't do that, right? You couldn't give guys options because, they would, they would kind of freeze. It would mess with them. But with you guys being through years together, the starting 5, all juniors and seniors, having played together for years. And then, I feel like our freshman class, we came in, we had some pretty decent basketball IQ and were able to pick stuff up. It was cool to be able to just do different things depending on the situation in the game. And I think that made our defense like as good as it was.
Absolutely. We as the anchors of the defense, we see everything in the possession. As a guard, you only see the guy in front of you and then nothing but open basketball court because you're at the top of the key. The big, when we're in the paint, we see everything. Right. And we started we rock with each other so much. We took it personal when our guards got their heads taken off the screen. Like we never wanted Nolan to get his head taken off, blindly without him knowing. We never wanted John to, you know what I mean? Like I remember how mad I was. I believe it was, I can't remember if it was my senior. No, it was probably my junior or sophomore year.
Junior, where we Nolan got hit in Maryland?
When Nolan got rocked in Maryland.
Yeah, that was your junior.
You know what I'm saying? Like that right there, like, that it's only like that will never happen. Like that can't happen. You know what I mean? Because that's a statement that the other team makes. It's like, send their best player this way. I got him. Gotta be up. That can't happen. So instances like that, that happened earlier before the championship year, right? So you take that lesson and you apply it, when it matters. And we then, like, that's why it was very important. Like, if you just watch the games again in the tournament, and you turn the volume up, you just hear me and Zeus just screaming, screaming, but not just barking, just to yelling, where it was just complete communication with us. If there were certain times where coach would do something on the fly and we could look over at him, see what he said, and then we have to be the ones that tell the whole team. The guard can't take his head like this because then he's going to like, boom, the guard's around him. You see what I'm saying? We had the luxury to look around and see everything. So, small things like that go a long way.
Yeah, for sure. Is it difficult to embrace the kind of like the not so flashy role where, your senior year, it's not, you're not coming off pin downs, like, it's not the Lance Thomas show, you're getting rebounds, you're guarding, one of the best front court guy, setting the screens, doing all the dirty stuff, communicating. I mean, is it difficult to to accept that role, or is that just something you embraced, just trying to do whatever it took?
Well, everybody comes to, to have the opportunity to go to Duke. They were, we were the man,
Yeah, right.
wherever we were previously,
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it was, an adjustment, but, when you're a part of something bigger than yourself, you learn to, accept, certain things, knowing that, yes, I am capable of certain things, but that's not, the team doesn't need me to do that.
Right.
I don't think the team ever needed me to come down off a pin down. As much as, as fun as it looks, to come down off the screen and just shoot fadeaways and stuff like that, that wasn't my game,
Yeah.
But, embracing the dirty work, I've always been somebody who, you know, who is just super mentally tough,
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to, doing things, that nobody else wanted to do, it was like, oh, there's a niche. There's
Right.
Everybody wants to shoot threes. Everybody wants to, dunk on people. Everybody wants to do all this. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'll have my opportunity to do that eventually, but that loose ball is mine.
Mm-hmm.
That offensive rebound is mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Making sure that my point guard's head doesn't get taken off. I'll take that responsibility.
Yeah.
Making sure that my defense is talking. I'll take that responsibility. Huddling our team up and making sure, just looking everybody in the eyes, making sure everybody's still engaged and, at their best. As a leader, I could look at any one of y'all and tell if y'all were here or you were somewhere else. If you were thinking about the game plan or if you were thinking about something completely different. If you were, accepting fatigue, or if you could, dig deep down and give me one more, hard possession, that we
Mm-hmm.
need, you know what I mean? And I knew how to get the best out of everyone. I could look at certain people and I can give certain people a look and they knew what time it was.
Mm-hmm.
I could yell at some of y'all and know what time it was. You know what I'm saying? Get you to be who you are. Some people I couldn't yell at because yelling would probably send them even spiraling down a little bit more. And then I can't get their confidence back up in enough time before the game's over. So I'll take that responsibility. I had no problem doing that. Right. And, a lot of little things add up to a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And when you have that mentality of, man, I didn't come to Duke to set ball screens. I didn't come to Duke to, to be an offensive rebounder. I didn't come to Duke to just set full court ball screens all day. I didn't come to Duke just to yell on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still had a 9-year NBA career.
Right.
I averaged, I think I averaged more points in the NBA than I did in college.
Mm-hmm.
People were like, "Oh, he shoots threes. When did he get that?" You know what I mean? But when you're when you're a workhorse and you are always, willing to do the tough things to get a result, it was easy for me to go in the gym and fine tune and try to figure out how to find a new niche in the NBA.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I already had the defensive prowess already
Mm-hmm.
because I was speaking, I was talking, and I knew how to communicate from college.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, but now, on offense, you're going to be in the corner. You got to develop this corner three. Okay, say no more. You know what I mean? And I was able to, become, a high 30%, couple years over 40% from three, which is unheard of if you looked at me from college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
When you look at when adversity comes, do you fold and make, excuses and have a pity party? Or do you welcome all challenges? Do you welcome, the tough time? Because, the journey is always more rewarding than the destination. And
Mm-hmm.
my journey to get to the NBA, the journey was way more, rewarding, to get there than actually being there. You see what I'm saying? Like it's just a bunch of these, things that I've been able to do in my career. It came from adversity. So that question you asked about, what is it like to, to embrace the dirty work? The dirty work is who I am. That applies to me off the court.
Mm-hmm.
If I got to scrap or figure out a way to lock in and develop a new skill set, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. So you're talking about communicating on the court and being able to get guys where they need to be. How difficult is that at the Final Four in front of 70,000 people, trying to yell over all of that noise?
Yeah, I didn't care about that. You got to think, like, when you're playing at Duke, just because, like, if, for instance, we're in Cameron, right?
Mm-hmm.
there's a finite number of people in there. I don't even know how many people.
9,314.
Okay. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep that just in case that's a question for me one day where I got to get that. But think about that. That's not a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right. But think about how many eyes are on each game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Worldwide. That's already, we're already feeling that pressure of a Final Four presence during the regular season. It's just not everybody in the same venue. Right. So, regardless, every time we played, we had a lot of eyes on us regardless. I remember when we were freshmen, I think we had the best TV deal in sports. Well, when I was a freshman, we were on TV more than the Lakers and Kobe and them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Duke had more national TV games than the Lakers when they were winning championships. So we were front and center even when we weren't good. That year we lost the first game of the tournament. We were on TV the most in sports. You see what I'm saying? So like the pressure of having eyes on us was never a big deal to me. I was used to it. Yeah. So like when you fast forward to the Final Four and there's people screaming all day, we were already desensitized to that noise. It was all a bunch of white noise to us. It was more, can you hear me? Do y'all recognize? Y'all know my voice. I don't care how many people in there. You know what my voice sounds like. If I say left, you're gonna know it's Lance saying left. You're not gonna hear. You're not gonna confuse it with somebody on the other team playing a joke. Trying to make you look a different way. They go the opposite way. Like it's me. And that came from just like I didn't have to scream louder than I usually would if I was in camera. I didn't have to go up, an octave in my voice for y'all to hear it. I did that regardless if the gym was packed or if we were in Boston College and there wasn't that many people there. Like I still did the exact same thing. Yeah. So there was, like I said, throughout that whole run of my senior year, I didn't recreate anything. You know what I mean? It was more, I just showed up and I continued to do what we did to get to that point in the first place. So the noise and the excitement, you feel that, you know what I mean? It's something that you're aware of, but when you're locked in, you know how to literally push that super far away from you. And I think that was something that was very important to us because it was a home game for Butler. Yeah. The NCAA tournament is supposed to be, neutral ground. That wasn't neutral ground.
No, not at all. I think that place would have exploded if that shot went in.
We're not even going to talk about that.
Before we continue our conversation, let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at BetRivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with BetRivers yet, now's the time because they are offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money. With their new Rush Pay instant approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, more secure, and more reliable. With basketball season in full swing, get in on the action by going to betrivers.com today or by downloading the BetRivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. So we get the win Saturday night. Pretty sure we went straight into film when we got back, but practice Sunday, getting ready to go to sleep Sunday night. You got the national championship game the next day. What thoughts are going through your head that night?
Well, for me personally, I was always somebody who made sure everybody was good. Like I was the person, like if I was to give an example, I was if a plane was going to go down, right? I'm the person that's going to make sure everybody got their mask on before I put my mask on. You know what I'm saying? Even though they say, put your mask on first. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I was with my team. I always wanted to make sure I'm texting people, you good? You know what I'm saying? Yo, you know what I'm saying? Tomorrow, I know it might be a lot, but you got this. You know what I'm saying? Like during breakfast, looking around and just making sure everybody's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I had to look in the mirror a few times and be like, are you good?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Are you know what I mean? Because you give so much. It's like you got to have some, left for yourself.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I had to, like after our breakfast meeting and then we went over film and scouting and all that. Like I didn't even take a nap before the game. Like I had to literally make sure that I was good. I was having, conversations with myself. I was like, all right, You know what I'm saying? Like envisioning, like myself calling out screens, envisioning myself taking a charge. Like I was just putting myself in a position where I've seen it, so that when it happened, it felt like deja vu. And these were things that I've always done, but I made sure I did it. Like I
Yeah, yeah,
envisioned myself having to help a teammate up off the ground. I envisioned, one of our guys making a big shot. Like things like that. So I've always been a visionary. So that's how I prepared. Leading up to the game, and then when the game happened, it was like, oh, I already did this.
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So like for me personally, like mentally, I already rehearsed the game. I didn't imagine it would come down to the last shot, but I did imagine that if it did come to one, it wasn't gonna go in.
Yeah,
For them.
yeah.
So, but just in general, I think that that the night before the game, it's a night where it's like it's hard to sleep.
Hmm.
Especially if you're a competitor. Like you ready. But you also have to make sure you get some rest. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, and we didn't have as much distractions as these guys have now with all the social media stuff. We have Facebook. You know what I'm saying? At least, and
Yeah,
I
Twitter
think
was Twitter
when
was
I was,
still a baby.
yeah, it was a baby then.
Yeah,
When I first got to college, with Facebook, you need to have a college email address.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
wasn't just having no Facebook with no Gmail address. You know what I mean? Like we were limited. You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
wasn't like we
I don't
wasn't
even think.
scrolling through reels and TikToks and stuff.
Nah,
Like it was like
yeah. I don't
it was
even.
like all right, like
I
my
guess I'll
my
go to
mom my
sleep now.
mom my mom is at my auntie house. That's cool. She was granny. I'm going to sleep. Like we didn't have those distractions. You know what I mean?
Nah,
But
I don't even think you could
it,
post pictures on Twitter yet. I think it was just words at that point.
yeah, it was just like a big group chat.
Yeah. Yeah. We was on BlackBerry Messenger back then. That's what
Yeah.
that was what
See,
we was on.
see. I forgot about that. Dang.
um, did you have a good look? Did you have a good look at the last shot?
Yeah, I was pretty much right behind them. Like
Yeah.
I had a streamlined shot of that shot going up, and even if it's like think about any time you've ever seen someone shoot a half court shot. Like
Hmm.
even if we're in like huddles and like they pick somebody from the crowd who's shooting from half court, and you look, you just be like, "Ooh, that thing about to, ooh, it look good. It's about to, oh, dad,"
Yeah.
like. But when it was in the game, it was like when I saw, I was like, "Ooh, that look like it's about to go in." Don't. I was like, it seemed like the basketball was in the air for like 10 minutes. I was like,
Forever.
"Yo," I was like,
Forever. I'm on the bench
"Nah."
and
I
it
was like,
felt
"This
like it
ain't."
was
I
in
was
the
like,
air
"
forever.
this ain't about to happen." And then once I saw it line up, like I was like, and then when it went off, then I just remember John ran over, jumped on me. I fall to the ground. I don't know, hit the back of my head. It's like, oh my goodness, look up, and then confetti's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And I had to get up. I was like,
Yeah.
I probably definitely had a concussion. I had to, like, I definitely had to have a concussion. The back of my head, I not, but like all that didn't matter. It was like we got the chip. I should have definitely hollered at Jose, like, yo, can I get a bag of
Yo,
ice real quick?
go to the side real quick, Jose.
But yeah, I just remember, the excitement,
Yeah.
and just it was amazing to share that moment with my upperclassmen, with John,
Yeah.
and Zoobs, but also with everyone else too. You know what I mean? I said them specifically because they were on the team and we lost the
Yep.
first game.
Yep.
And just to have that moment with them,
Mm-hmm.
of like, we've lost the first game before, and in our senior year,
And
in
won
the
the last.
last possible game that we could possibly play, we maxed
Yep.
out the tournament.
Yep.
We maxed out our senior years. Like there was no other game that could be played. Like
Mm-hmm.
we maxed it out, and we were
Won
victorious.
everything. Won
Yeah. And
preseason. What did we win? New York that year. Won the regular season, won the tournament, and then won the Natty. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
you can't do anything more.
yeah.
Literally couldn't do anything else.
And that was the beautiful part of it,
Yeah.
and then to look at you guys, to look at my young boys, and just be able to like look and be like, yes, like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like that, y'all got a taste of that y'all freshman year. It
Mm-hmm.
was like, I can't give you nothing else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
when I was watching y'all celebrating, I was watching you and Ace and Miles and all y'all running around acting stupid. It was dope because it was just like, I wish I could have had that as a freshman.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But who's to say that we would have won our senior year? We didn't get dragged through the mud like that.
Yeah, you need that. And honestly, I feel
so
like I feel like every team that wins, and not just our team in 2010, but every team that wins has to go through some stuff first. Like that, like UVA had to go through stuff, had to lose as the first one ever to lose in the first round. And then they come back and they win, like Villanova been to the Final Four a couple, a bunch of times before they won their first one with Jay Wright, been to the Final Four, gone through stuff, like, because winning is something you have to learn how to do. And especially in the tournament.
Winning doesn't matter how good your team looks on paper.
Right.
Just because you have 5 McDonald's All-Americans and you have 5 seniors, that don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you guys haven't been through a lot together, if you guys don't spend time together off the court, when adversity happens, like there's certain instances in games where, like, even though you're playing basketball, like certain instances, basketball just gets pushed to the side real quick. Meaning, like, if someone checks your teammate, right? Like, there were certain times where I forgot we were playing basketball. I was like, yo, you ain't gonna just do that. You know what I mean? It was just like, but that comes from that comes from spending time with that person. That comes from hanging out with them. You know what I'm saying? That comes from off the court things, right? So off the court, translates to on the court, as far as accountability and having each other's back. We did everything together. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when it came time to, like in the tournament, it's about accountability and having each other's back. You know what I'm saying? Talent will get you so far.
Yeah.
But if you don't have each other's back in, pivotal moments of the game, it's like you lost already. I don't care if if there's still 5 minutes left in the game. Like, if you don't have each other's back, you lost already. It's just a matter of time before you see it. And then when it happens and you go back and watch the film, you're like, that moment right there, that's where we lost the game. And it's, for instance, if Gordon made that shot, right? We didn't lose the game right there. Yeah. We could go back and look at another instance, like, this is where we lost the game. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was just an amazing shot. You know what I'm saying? But we lost the game here. This was something that effort could have done. That was, so it's just ways to look at the game. And we never wanted to be in a position where, we left something out, we left something on the table.
Yeah. So fast forwarding to, actually, what I remember, one of the things I remember about that year though, was we did that. You remember we did that stuff with the Navy SEAL in the preseason?
Snap. Yeah.
We were doing the dead body drag. We were crawling, we were running.
Yeah.
All that stuff. It was so hard. But like, one of the things I remember was just being like, we're not doing anything harder than that. You know what I mean? Like, basketball, at this point, basketball is simple. Like getting out to a closeout, whatever. Like, I don't have to drag, 300-pound Zoogs down the field. Like, I'm we'll be all right. I remember feeling like that throughout the year. Like, this is simple. Like, I got to hit a shot, right? I got to box this guy out. This is no problem. I'd much rather do that than that stuff we were doing in the preseason.
I think that's funny that you brought that up. I think that was very important for you guys.
Yeah.
For the youngins to deal with that, because we had practices that were very difficult, including the basketball, right? And some of our practices were so hard that I would have preferred to do that Navy SEAL workout.
Yeah.
So with that said, it was great. Like, we had so many of those practices together before you even got there.
Yeah.
We had each other's back off that. You understand? Like, we already knew what adversity felt like, so when we had that going on, it was like, oh, let's do it. And for you, it was kind of like, yo, what?
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on?
This ain't even basketball. I know you like, what are we doing?
And for me, like, I wasn't there all summer. I didn't get there till the beginning of school. Because I was trying to finish my stuff up. So I came into like preseason, like, no, we're getting after it. And I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, but like things like that, they build character.
Yeah, for sure.
And essentially, like, that's a moment where you can be broken, right? And then there are certain instances in the game that are like that, where you can be broken, right? For instance, first 2 minutes of the game, team comes down, hit it open three. Then they come down, they swing the ball, hit another open three, 6-0. We come down, we take a bad shot, they come down, get a fast break dunk. You know what I mean? Boom, 8-0, timeout. Now you going uphill.
Yeah.
And there's still 18 minutes left in the game, in the first half. You see what I'm saying? Like, what do you do then? Like, damn, why are we down? No, you climb away because you're like, you know what? We've been through so much together that, like, there's going to be a certain point where they're going to be tired and we not,
For sure.
So just like when we used to run the mile, right? Yeah, young punks used to take off on us old heads, trying to look good, and we always caught y'all on that fourth lap. Every single time we would catch y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of how we applied, our strategies in games. It was like, okay, we're not going to continue to allow teams to just run up on us like that. But when things like that happen, we're not panicking. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of teams, especially in a tournament setting, they panic, and then hero basketball starts to get played. And depending on if you got a real bucket getter, a real hero on your team that could really do that, you know what I mean? That could close the gap. But if you got somebody who's your best player is cold, and he's still playing hero ball, that person is literally just making digging the hole a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then from that point, a team like as far as clock control in NCAA, a team can really have you just swinging, and they just out there just slowly playing their game. And that was one of our advantages.
Yeah.
That we made you play our style of basketball. Like, the final was 61-59.
Yeah.
Like,
first one.
If you watched the game, it wasn't a super exciting game to watch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, yo, he got dunked on, yo.
No.
The most exciting thing in that game was Hayward probably missing.
Yeah.
If you talk about like a real highlight that people only like, whenever that game gets replayed, they just keep replaying that miss.
Yeah.
So in your mind, that was the exciting moment of the game. You know what I'm saying? But essentially, the game
it was a grind. It was a grind.
It was a grind, and it was a chess match. It was two really, really great coaches going at each other. And we all, as players, we literally were just doing our part and figuring out ways to win. So we knew our advantage, they knew their advantage. Our coaches knew our advantage. Brad Stevens knew their advantage, and boom, that team was very well coached. I think they made it back to the championship.
They went right back. Yeah, went right back.
You see what I'm saying? So two great coaches literally just playing chess with each other.
Yeah. I think one of the things about our team was it wasn't like, I never felt like it was like, okay, John, go make a play. Okay, Nolan, go make a play. Okay, Kyle, so it was just like, we get to a point where we need something to happen. Somebody, one of the five guys on the court is going to do it, right? So, John's going to come off the screen and hit a shot. Boom. Lance is going to get this putback dunk against Baylor out of nowhere. Boom.
The one that rattled in and looked real weak.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I monkey dunked it, it was going to be worth 2 points anyway.
Exactly. It didn't matter.
Regardless, it was 2 points at a very pivotal point in the game. But keep on, my bad, player.
Yeah, no, you're good. Whether Nolan going off in the second half against Baylor, like, it was just, we need something to happen. One of us is going to make it happen, and we never. I don't feel like we were ever at a point where we're just like, here, can you do this for us? We never played hero basketball. Like, if we needed a basket and we wanted John to take it, we made sure, like, I would set a pin down for John. I would say, John, don't move until I set a screen in your guy. Otherwise, you're not going to be open. You know what I'm saying? So he would wait. I would make sure that I got a good screen in.
John would be wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Nolan top of the key. I would set a screen. My guy would switch on him like a dummy. And then Nolan was going downhill against somebody with slow feet. You know, if we needed, a very agile bucket, Kyle was a guy that we could just give the ball to anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He was that guy where here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And figure it out. And it wasn't he wasn't in a bag, he wasn't in like a crazy bag, but he was in a bag where you couldn't stop him from getting anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So his style of basketball, it never looked like hero basketball because he was efficient with his movement.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to do all this to get around you. He would just rip and go.
Yep.
And I believe he was the Final Four MVP, wasn't he?
Yeah. Kyle was, yeah.
Yeah, but and that was just, he was just a grind. Kyle's a dog, man. I mean, just playing with him, for the years that I did, and just to remember how much of an impact he had on the game. I mean, he's one of those special talents, that comes around once in a while.
Yeah, I feel like he's one of the underrated, great players, that dude.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy about Kyle is he was the same dude every single day. Practice, and I know because I had to guard him for 2 years in practice. He was gonna be the same hard-nosed, run you over, push you around, be physical, same dude every day in practice that he was in the game. And I mean, I get that's why he was who he was in the games, because he did it every single day.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, he used
to kick your ass. You're right. I forgot about that.
Hey, I ain't mad about it, because he kicked a lot of halves. It wasn't just me. There's a lot of names on that list.
No, you're right. If I was to switch over to the blue jerseys, I got some of that work too. That we definitely was elbowing each other for rebound. But that was the thing. We went at each other so hard in practice that the game was easy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's why when I was mentioning, when we did the Navy SEAL stuff, that was all right, we do this already.
Yeah.
It was just important for y'all to know how we work. Because then once we got to practice and you saw the intensity of the practice, I know you was like, yo, this is good. And then we got a little 10 seconds to get water real quick, and then we right back to it. Oh,
for 3 hours.
That horn going off, Coach. But I was like, all right, let's go. We dag. I know the youngest, the upperclassmen always got the water first. So
I just got over here.
2 seconds to get you some water, and then we right back to it. I remember, that's funny. Good old days, man. Wow.
Oh man, yeah. So fast forward to this year's team. Obviously made it to the Final Four, which we'll be in attendance for on Saturday.
I'm gonna be there too, boy. Yep.
So what do you think? Do you think there was something that changed going into the tournament that helped this team make it to the Final Four this year? You feel like there's been something a little bit different the last 4 games?
I think that their nose got dragged through mud.
Yeah.
And it got dragged through mud in a very pivotal moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might have been the worst way to get your nose dragged through mud. And you already know what we're talking about. I don't think there's losing any other game.
Yeah.
There's no other game that could have been, worse than that, as far as, emotional, how you feel as a player, how you feel wearing that uniform, and, a big thing about that is, how do you respond?
Mm-hmm.
Do you hang your head? Woe is me, man. We let coach down. He told everybody to shut up, after the game, let me talk, you know what I mean? As a player, and you sitting there, I was putting myself in their shoes, man, this is crazy. But I do know that, when adversity hits, that's when your true character shows.
Yeah.
And to see the way that they have responded shows me that they have character, they have grit. It was just a matter of, everybody has a plan till you get punched in the face. That's what Tyson said. We got a 2-piece.
Yeah.
National TV. And our boxing coach was like, "Dang, bro." You know what I mean? It was like, "Dang, what do we do? Have we been working out?" That wasn't the game plan. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have a game plan when the team comes out and punches you in the mouth like that. right? So again, as you prepare moving forward, going into these tournaments, you know, a lot of a lot of a lot of grit, a lot of toughness had to be exposed in some of those practices. A
Yeah.
lot of difficult conversations had to probably be had behind closed doors. We had a bunch of those, so I can only imagine those, and the beauty of that situation was that the season wasn't over. You see what I'm saying? It was like you have another opportunity to show that you have some resolve, and even though we didn't win the ACC, I saw toughness. I saw toughness. It was still a steady trajectory, but I saw growth. And then when you fast forward to the tournament, it doesn't matter what your regular season was.
Nope.
You got 6 games
Yeah.
potentially to play. You know what I mean? And so far we 4-0 right now. So if you already are 4-0, you can definitely be 2-0.
Right.
You did it twice already.
Right.
If you really want to break down the math of the tournament, you did it twice. Why not do it one more time?
Yeah. So, they obviously have a really good 4-man. That would be the guy you were guarding. So what would you be focusing on going into this game, guarding Brady Manning?
Who?
Brady, their 4-man, their shooter at the 4.
Oh, the tall shooter?
Yeah.
Honestly, make him put the ball down.
Mm-hmm.
Show me you got handles. Show me something else. As a defender, like for me, I've been a defender in college. I've been one in my 9 years in the NBA. Like I watch film.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're comfortable doing, I want you to go to your second option. I want you to go to your third option. I'm making him put the ball on the floor. He's gonna set a screen, and he's somebody who doesn't really go in the paint.
Yeah.
I know who he was. I wasn't gonna give him that much respect. And
No, I feel you.
He did what he had to do against us and came in respect. But in general, I think that you just got to force him to go to his plan B and C. If we allow him to be who he is and have no resistance, I don't see why he wouldn't have another big game against us.
Yeah.
Right. But if we are who I know we are, and I know they're watching as much film as I know they're going to watch, because I know how Nolan and John get down, I know they're like, no open looks for this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he's going to make a 3, it better be with a hand in his face, with a hand in his face. So that would be my game plan, is to make him put the ball down. Let's see his playmaking ability.
Yeah.
If he puts the ball down and makes winning plays, hats off. That's as a hooper. If you go to plan B and C and you still dominate, respect.
Yeah. What do you think are the keys going into this weekend to come away with the national championship?
Playing for each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think we finally showed some dog. Meaning that we showed that we can scrap and play some really scrappy basketball. I'm a really big fan of Jeremy Roach.
Yeah.
I think that he's been our X factor for multiple reasons. I think that he's bringing the intensity on defense.
Yeah.
I think that he's not afraid of the moment and taking big shots. He's reminding me of 2 people that I'm looking back at, in this tournament. He's reminding me of Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
In this tournament run of, hitting really big shots and, making really good decisions with the ball, getting into the paint, finding people, but hitting big shots we need. And he's also reminding me of Quinn Cook in the 15 year, the head of the snake, someone who, is maybe the unsung hero playing with, some other guys who are going to be lottery picks potentially. But still, worth his weight in gold, and continuing to, to bring that toughness and to, show poise, for him to be a young player like that, to really control the game. And I just really feel, I watch the smallest thing.
Yeah.
So, just the connection he has with his teammates, the connection that he has when he looks over at Nolan and John, coach, like he's locked in and he's like, oh, and he's just, he's doing really well. I mean, I love our whole team. I think everybody's doing their big part, but I'm I'm going based off of the Carolina game that we lost all the way up to now. The X factor for me is definitely Jeremy.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the small things that people probably don't really pick up on that he's been doing is he's been guarding ball screens by himself. Like there's no, it's like, well, how are we guarding the ball screen? He's like, don't even worry about it. I'm just getting over and I'm back in front. And that's so good for a defense to not have to worry about, how to guard the ball screen, because obviously the ball screen is effective. That's why everybody runs it everywhere, right? It gives you a 2-on-1 situation, makes you have to help, push your defense in a compromising situation. And to have him just say, don't, it's coming left to right, great. I'm over it. We're good. Big, stay with yours. I think has been huge in the tournament for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So one more thing for you. Can I get your all-time Duke starting 5 and a 6-man?
And a 6-man?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Woo. All right. Okay. Bet. My point guard is going to be Nolan.
Okay. A lot of options at the 2.
Man. Shit. You killing me right now. You killing me. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go off the top. My point guard is Nolan.
All right.
My 2 guard is gonna be I'm gonna come back to the 2 guard.
Okay.
My 3 is gonna be Grant.
Yep.
My 4 will be Now we have some dogs, man. My 4, man. All right. Well, my 5 is gonna be my 5 will be Leitner.
Okay.
My 4, I'll give to Zion.
Yep.
My two guards gonna be my two guards gonna be Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love to see. I mean, he could flip flop between Kyrie and Nolan, 1 and 2. I got to keep Nolan in there. I mean, I played with this boy.
Yeah.
I know what he's about on that floor.
Yeah.
And my 6th man, my 6th man is gonna be Kyle.
That's a good 6-man. It's a good 6-man.
My 6th man is gonna be Kyle. Somebody that, like, if something happens, he could play any of those positions.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so we're going Smitty, Kai, G Hill,
Grant,
Zion, Leitner, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
I like that team. That's a good team.
Yeah, it's Kyle, a solid team.
You know what I mean? Kyle is 6-man is a good pick, I think.
Yeah, I think for that, you know what I mean. I didn't really want a traditional big man, as a 5. You know what I mean. I would definitely, I want the paint to be open. If I got Kyrie and Nolan,
Yep.
I don't want a tradition. I don't want no big man in the way, stopping them from getting to the basket. Late and those guys can spot up. Zion, we could give you the ball anywhere. The paint's open.
Yeah.
And if you need somebody who's nuts to just come in and shake all that stuff up, we're gonna go Kyle in there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's all I got for you today, man. I appreciate your time. And I will see you Saturday night, hopefully for a win.
No doubt, man. Hey, my welcome to Duke moment was running that mile my freshman year.
What did you get your freshman year? What was your time?
Oh, man. Low 5. Low 5. It was just a matter of, like, we didn't run those.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing this for?
Yeah.
At 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. Like, what,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That was my wake. I was like, yo, I got class after this, and then I got practice. Like, what do we? That was my way. That was what I was gonna do. That let me know I was in college.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's crazy is our first mile, my freshman year that we ran. That was the first time I had run a full mile, because like I knew we had to run it. Before I came, I knew we had to run it, and so me and my dad went out one time to the track. And first of all, I didn't even know how long a mile was. He was like, "It's 4 laps." I'm like, "What? Like 4 laps? Are you crazy?" And he's like, "Yeah, 4 laps." And I knew you had to do it in 6 minutes. And I'm like, "Dog, that doesn't even." I'm doing the math. I'm like, "Ain't no way." And so like I did 1 lap, and I was like, "Man, I can't do this." And I just left. We just went home. I was like, "I can't. There's no way I'm gonna be able to run."
I mean, I ran track in high school. I mean, we ran the mile, but we didn't run it for time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, all right, go out there, run a mile, and then, cool down. You know what I mean? It was like, cool down with a mile. So I was like, we would just be. I never ran it to like make a time. You know what I mean? Like, you got to run it a certain way.
Yeah.
You know
and
what I mean? And that's why we always caught y'all, because y'all would take off. I'm like, we got another
3 more of these.
2 or 3 more of these. All right, go ahead. You did there. I'm gonna catch you.
Yeah, that was the craziest thing, man. It's like I had no concept of like what pace I needed to run at, and like you said, I went out quick. I think the first lap was like a minute 15.
Especially
I had no clue.
You had no track and field background. You were clueless to what was going on. And that was what it was for me.
Yeah. And then by the end, I was in the back with Zoobs, and I was like, I feel like if I stay with Zoobs, like he'll probably make it, and then I'll be all right. And so we both came across like about the same, and we barely made it.
But the crazy thing is, like, Zoobs ran that mile really good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, if you was running with Zoobs, you was, you know what I mean, like, you was slow.
Zoobs I know it was bad. I was like
making it under 6 minutes.
Yeah, well, that
you
was
going
my
there
thing.
with him. Come on, man, you the guard, boy.
No, that was my thing. I was like, I can't be behind Zoobs. Like, I can't finish behind Zoobs. Like, I have to come in a step before Zoobs
was
at least.
Just making his time our first 2 years. Like, he was diving across the finish line. And there was times where he dove and like missed it by like 3 seconds, but he dove. So he was like, Like, you can't yell at the man for missing the time. The boy just dove, with everything he had. You know what I'm saying? We would always gas it up. But Coach Will, like,
he's like, but you missed it though.
I'm like, no. Congrats, Zoobs, you missed it. Do it again. Like.
Plus the other thing that year is we ran the trail that year too, which is like 3 miles, and that was I remember trail, I was in the back of that, and I remember you like slowed down and were like, "Yo, Dre, come on, man, like catch up to the pack," and I'm like, "LT, bro, I don't got it," and you were like, "All right, man, cool," it took off. I'm like, "How is he doing that?" Like, we're 2.5 miles.
The thing was about, like, being a captain and holding people accountable. I went to everybody while I was doing that. Like, I went to you, all the all right, Dre bullshitting. All right, let me go check on Mace. Oh, Mace, you good? Oh, Mace is up front. He good. All right, who else? Zoobs, I ain't worried about you. You might, like, you you bullshitting. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, but everybody else, I would go and check to make sure everybody's good, because everybody's not a runner. You know what I mean? And don't matter how athletic you are. One of the worst runners that, we had was Gerald Henderson. And he's somebody that could touch the top of the backboard. Yeah. Most likely, you know what I mean? So, but he could not run. Like, he was. I ain't gonna throw my boy under the bus, man. My boy couldn't run. I'll tell you that.
You're not gonna bring up the oxygen tank on him?
He could jump over you. My boy could not run, though. It didn't make sense. But it didn't make sense at all.
Yeah. Too many muscles.
I guess. But he gonna be there. We can ask him about that when we get in.
For sure. All right, man.
Well, I appreciate you, bro.
For sure. Appreciate your time, man. I'm gonna let you go and see you this weekend.
You ain't gonna let me go. I'm out of here. You heard?